Today, myself and the United States Air Force are going to debunk the globe Earth theory. We're going to do that using a two-pronged attack. First up, the U-2 spy plane. Actually, before we watch this footage, I just want to show you the angle of attack. The angle of attack essentially is the way the plane flies when it's reached its altitude, its cruising altitude. We can see here from the side profile that the plane's nose is slightly up. That's the angle of attack for cruising. And that's kind of relevant to when we look at the footage in a minute regarding the U-2 spy plane and the horizon's location, okay? I want you to bear in mind that the fact that the plane's nose is slightly up, okay? So we're back with this incredible spy plane footage, which is essentially showing a U-2 cruising at 70,000 feet. We know based on the angle of attack, the nose of the plane will be slightly up. So when we watch this footage, pay particular attention to the horizon, because in a minute I'm going to hit you with some mathematics, which are going to highlight how ridiculous the globe Earth theory is based on this official US U-2 high altitude spy plane footage. Okay? Remember, the plane's nose is slightly up. The horizon's right there. We know for a fact any supposed curve is optical and not physical. That's a demonstrable fact. And when I say optical, either as a result of the cabin here on the U-2 plane or the camera it's been filmed with, okay? If it was real curve, the horizon wouldn't be actually where it is this high up in relation to the U-2 spy plane flying at 70,000 feet. It just wouldn't. But let's just appreciate this fantastic footage for a minute. "70,000 feet. Plane's nose is up slightly because of the angle of attack. Look at the horizon. Remember, if you're on a ball, the moment you started rising up, every direction that ball is sloping away from you. This plane at 70,000 feet has its nose up and the horizon's just there. So, according to the globe mathematics, with the U-2 flying at 70,000 feet, the horizon should be 324 miles away. So the maths, according to the globe, says that that horizon's 324 miles away when the plane flies at 70,000 feet on average. It also says, bizarrely enough, that that horizon, according to the globe Earth mathematics, is 140,000 feet below the eye level of the U-2 spy plane. Essentially, that horizon is supposedly twice the height the U-2 plane is flying at below the eye level of the U-2 spy plane. That's clearly ridiculous, especially when you take into account the plane's angle of attack. The nose is angled up slightly. Look at the horizon. Look at the side profile of the globe. Look at the statistics in which it expects you to believe. And then look at how reality presents itself to us. The globe's clearly ridiculous. If it was a reality, the horizon would be nowhere there. It would be much further down. Particularly given the fact the aircraft has its nose up slightly with its angle of attack. Supposedly twice the height the plane is flying at, that horizon should be below the pilot's eye level. That's if the Earth was a ball. Clearly ridiculous. And it's just going to get worse. Next, we've got the incredible SR-71. In case you're not familiar with the SR-71, it's a Cold War era spy plane that to this day is still the fastest plane of all time. This is a thing of absolute beauty. Look. And here lies the problem. the SR-71 would never have existed if the Earth was a ball. That's not my opinion, that's a demonstrable fact, and it's also backed up by the globe mathematics in which we're about to see right now. The SR-71 could travel 2,200 miles an hour, top speed. It was capable of doing that for 90 minutes. We don't need the 90 minutes, we just need an hour's travel, travelling at full speed, which is 2,200 miles an hour. Of course, over the course of the hour, the plane would have travelled 2,200 miles. We can see point A on the diagram here, the start of the journey, point B, the finish of the journey, an hour later. And according to the globe maths, based on an hour's travel, flying at full speed, there's 570 miles of curve stroke drop between those 2 points of reference. That's an incredible amount of drop between those 2 points of reference that this plane has to encounter to maintain its level on a ball, all whilst doing 2,200 miles an hour. When we start to break it down to the minute and then the second, you're going to see how silly and foolish this globe Earth theory is. Because when I divide it down to a minute, essentially the SR-71 has to drop 9.5 miles per minute whilst doing 2,200 miles an hour to maintain level on a ball. And then we break that down to a second. This is based on an hour's travel, doing full speed, 2,200 miles an hour, getting an average per second what this plane needs to encounter as far as drop is concerned to maintain its level on a ball based on the globe Earth mathematics. According to the maths, this plane has to drop 836 feet every single second on average over the course of that hour, flying at 2,200 miles an hour to maintain level on a ball. That's clearly insane. Doing 2,200 miles an hour, dropping on average 836 feet a second. And remember, every second that goes by, they're not dropping 836 feet a second. They need now to make that up the next second. And let me show you how high or how much drop this 836 feet actually is. So you've got a visual to see how ridiculous this globe is. This is Cromwell Tower in London. It's 404 feet tall. Just zoom in so you can have a look, get some idea of height. It's quite a tall building, as you can see. To believe the globe Earth theory, you need to believe the SR-71, based on an hour's travel, is dropping twice the height of this building every single second when travelling at full speed to maintain level on a ball. Two of these buildings, one stacked on top of another, dropping every second whilst doing 2,200 miles an hour to maintain level on a ball. Clearly ridiculous. So to summarise, in the first clip we saw the U-2 spy plane using the horizon and the globe maths to highlight how silly this globe is to us all. And then in the second clip we had the SR-71 use its top speed and of course the globe Earth maths again to make it rather obvious how ridiculous this globe Earth theory really is. For us to entertain it as a reality using the SR-71 as an example, based on an hour's travel at full speed, that plane would literally have to drop over 800 feet every single second to maintain its level on a ball. We saw how ridiculous that was with the buildings, literally 2 towers stacked on top of each other. That's insane. The first clip from the U-2 spy plane, we saw there's no curve. We know any supposed curve is optical and not physical. That's a demonstrable fact, not an opinion. And then of course the second clip, the SR-71 would never have existed if the globe Earth was a reality. Essentially, these two incredible planes have just destroyed the globe Earth theory using its own maths. Love it!